Lots of guns are designed to fill a niche, but few of them are as nichey as this rifle. This is Weatherby's Backcountry 2.0 Ti chambered in their new 338 Weatherby RPM. What niche is this? This is like an ultralight mountain rifle in a thumping magnum cartridge. And I'll tell you what, when we were rounding up all the guns for the gun test this year, you know, even as much as I like Weatherby and I have a long history with the company and the guns, I don't think anybody on staff was particularly excited to lay down behind this rifle and start blazing away. You know, we put hundreds of rounds through our guns to make sure we get all the accuracy testing. And, you know, the fact of the matter is we're a bunch of tender souls at Outdoor Life, or at least our shoulders can get tender when we do this kind of testing. You know, and so having the lightest gun of the test, 5.5 pounds, in the by far hardest kicking cartridge was not on anybody's like bingo card for what they wanted to do. That said, we ended up being kind of surprised by this thing. Now, don't get me wrong, shooting this prone for group size is not anybody's idea of a great day. But when we transitioned out of that part of the evaluation into our more practical kind of field shooting, this thing really started to shine. But before I get to that, let me talk a little bit about how it performed at the line. So Weatherby has rolled out 4 different cartridges in the 338 Weatherby. There are 2 loads from Barnes. One's a 185 grainer that zips along a little quicker than the other 3, all of which are 225 grains. So there's a 225 grain Barn, there's a 225 grain interlock, and a 225 grain Nosler AccuBond. So in terms of how Magnum is Magnum with those, in the standard box, when you buy the box, you're gonna see velocities on there that are for a 24-inch barrel. And Weatherby is making a 24-inch version of this. This happens to be their 18-inch barrel. So what you'll find is that the velocities they have on the boxes, which are like 3,100 for that 185 and around 2,800 for the other ones, knock off about 150, 200 feet per second, and that's what you get out of the 18-inch barrel. And that's exactly what we saw with our chronograph data with all of the loads. One thing that was really kind of cool though is that, you know, not only did we get the muzzle velocities for this, but one of the things we noticed was that the ammunition was incredibly consistent. Our standard deviation over 10 shot strings was really about as good as it gets for factory ammo, which is pretty remarkable because when you have a Magnum cartridge and a short barrel, you can get a little bit more you know, kind of spotty performance because chances are that maybe not all that powder has had a chance to burn, so you can get a little bit more inconsistency there. But man, this thing was very consistent. Now, in terms of the accuracy, you know, it didn't set the world on fire, but it shot pretty well. The average group size of the 10 best 5-shot groups was right under 1.5 inches. And, you know, that sort of leads into the next question. What exactly is this rifle for? You know, it is a $3,500 rifle. It is not going to be a super long range gun, so it's kind of a little bit of a close range hammer. It kind of behaves like a guide gun, and but you would have to be a pretty well-heeled guide who takes shaving ounces pretty seriously to want this. That said, when we did shoot it, you know, it has the Weatherby 6-lug bolt. The thing ran pretty smoothly. This muzzle brake up here, that radial muzzle brake of theirs, is very effective. One of the things we like is, you may have noticed this before, you know, Weatherby has come out with some pretty innovative 3D printed recoil pads. And this is almost like the 3rd generation of that technology. And this is their best one to date, in that it not only does it do a good job absorbing the recoil, but it also doesn't take a set like some of the materials that they had used previously. So they've really kind of continued to improve just in general their backcountry line, and it's come to a really nice fruition in this rifle. You know, so you know, for a 50-yard, 100-yard, 150-yard Alaska moose gun or a big bear gun, you know, where you really care about shaving weight from your kit, this is gonna be a pretty cool option. But man, a mountain Magnum gun is about as nichey as it gets.